G'day folks and welcome to this playthrough of Paths of Glory. In this series of videos, I'm going to play through Paths of Glory and I'm going to try and... it's really a test game to talk through some of the strategic advice I was given in recent videos. So I'm going to focus my discussion more on the pros and cons of the decisions I'm making rather than optimal play, if that makes sense. So let me tell you what I like to do. As the Central Powers, I do like to play Guns of August. I like to hurt the French on the Western Front, mainly to give me some breathing room, to then shift my attention to Serbia. I like to focus on getting Serbia out of the war early, to then shift my attention to Italy and try to exploit the vulnerability that is Italy. Okay, that's what I like to do generally. I like to put pressure on the Russians. I like to push them out of their western forts, but I don't like to push too far. So the idea of Odessa and Kiev, I rarely, if ever, push for. I just think it's too far. But certainly these frontier victory points, I will often strive for. As the Allied player, it is trying to survive as Serbia, trying to survive as Italy in the early game and playing the late game, trying to get to total war and bring these reinforcements on and yeah, push back the Central Powers. That's what I normally do. In this game, I am going to pursue a Central Powers Western Front offensive just to demonstrate how that might work. I am not very proficient with this. I am not, and one of the reasons I don't do it is because when the Germans focus on the Western Front, they can put a lot of effort into the Western Front. And what I've seen, what I've experienced is a competent Allied player will suffer, but will be able to hold that Western Front. And then the Germans have exhausted a lot of effort and Allied reinforcements build up and they get forced back on the Western Front and they end up losing. They're behind on the Eastern Front because of their focus here. Serbia is still in the war and the Central Powers find themselves on the back foot. And it's for that reason that I just tend not to like the idea of a Western Front strategy, but I've been talking a lot about this and some people like this idea and it is appealing, and so I'm going to try it. But I will say up front, I'm not very proficient with this Western Front strategy. Let's see how we go. So obviously, first decision is whether or not to start with Guns of August. And I just did a short video on the pros and cons of this. For the Germans, why would they want to play that? It gives them an advantage in the Western Front. They destroy the fort in Liège. They advance the First and the Second Armies. They activate these armies and this Third Army for combat. They can attack the French Fifth Army and there's a good chance they'll destroy that army. They get 2 war status. They remove a 3-op card from their deck. Great. It's good for a Western Front strategy, but it does provide the prerequisite for the Allies to play Rape of Belgium, which is a victory point and 2 war status, and gets them closer to limited war. It makes it a lot easier for the Allies to get to the limited war, which the Germans kind of, generally, if they're not going for the Western Front, they want to be more careful. It's a victory point. Yeah, so that's the pros and cons. As I said, I'm going for a determined Western Front strategy, so I am playing Guns of August. I am destroying the fort in Liège. I've already got it up there. I have played the card for the event. It's right at the top. Yeah, it's on camera. Good. And that goes removed from the game. Now, I've got a choice here. Both activated for combat. Do I attack the BEF? Do I attack the French Fifth Army? I'm going to go just overwhelmingly focus on the French. My goal here is to grind the French armies down so that they are no longer a fighting force. I am focused overwhelmingly on hurting these French armies and not giving them an opportunity to rebuild their forces. I want to be able to just destroy the capacity of the Allies to fight in in southern France, central and southern France. So I'm going to focus both of these stacks on the Fifth Army. I have my my pinning force and my flanking force. So I will make a flanking attempt, and I need a 3 or more to succeed. That's a success. So I will roll for combat first. I have no combat cards that I can use. The Allies have no combat cards that they can use. So I'm basically rolling on the 15, I've got 5 plus 5 plus 5, the 15 column of the army fire table for this German attack. Above a 4 would wipe out that French army. That's a 6, that's 7 loss factors. Now I'm not going to tell you how to play the game. This is not a rules instructional guide. I'm not going to be going through, what you do here, what you do here. I'm really focusing on strategy. So 7 loss factors is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First unit in the eliminated pool, replaced with a corps. Now the French, just double checking, they did not have withdrawal, yep. Another is their 7th. Now they counterattack on the 1 column on the core table. All right, 1 column, I can tell you it's not going to do any damage, but let's go through the motions. 1, there's no loss factors. So it is 7-1, an overwhelming German victory. The French have to retreat 2 spaces. I am going to put them down here. And now let me tell you about why I've retreated to Melun and not to Amiens. So let's do the German advance first, and I'll tell you about why that's happening. Firstly, I'm advancing from Koblenz. The reason I'm advancing from Koblenz is there will be no French forces adjacent to here. There is no need to hold Koblenz. I'm also going to advance with one of these German armies in Liège. The fort is destroyed. I capture Sedan. It is 1 victory point for the Central Powers. I'm holding Sedan in strength. Sedan is a very challenging space for the Central Powers. This is surrounded, potentially and often surrounded on 4 sides by Allied forces. And it is one of the key spaces that the Germans will often look to entrench if it looks like the Western Front is going to be a longer, if the war is going to go the distance in effect. Liège, look, I would love the BEF to attack me in Liège. I would love them to risk losing a step. On the Army 5 factor firing, anything above a 2 on my counterattack would cause the BF to lose a step. Now they are of course non-replaceable. So once they lose a step, they can't be rebuilt. They lose another step, they can never be rebuilt. So I would love the BF to attack. And of course an experienced Allied player will not attack with the BEF. They will try to use the BEF strictly on the defense. And as a German player, I want to create these vulnerable situations where I'm like, hey, your BEF could attack me here and you could really hurt me and break through if you attack. And I want to try and tempt that Allied player into attacking me. All right, so I've advanced into Sedan. As I said, in future, I'm going to focus on these frontier forts. And maybe even more. I mentioned why haven't I retreated to Amiens? Okay, so I've advanced to here. The Allied players are going next. They'll respond. Let's say I do nothing on the Western Front here. Let's say this is a situation and it's the German turn. What are the Germans going to do? Are they going to advance to Rouen? And then with what? Yes, they could. A beginner player might do something like this and advance their armies, capture these VPs, and then all it would take was the French to attack Sedan, get a lucky roll, force retreat, and all those German armies that have advanced through here are cut off. So for a beginner, when I'm teaching a beginner, I say you don't want to leave big gaps in your line. Yes, that's true. But a more intermediate player will be able to recognize that whilst there is a gap here, it's not necessarily a vulnerability. So beginners, we say don't leave any gaps. That's true. This gap is certainly one you want to plug because if I marched by Germans 1, 2, 3, they would cut off all these French forces and there wouldn't be that opportunity to counterattack through Sedan. I would, of course, strengthen Sedan, strengthen Chateau Thierry, but that would the Allied player would not have that capacity to counterattack. Advancing along the north here does present the Germans with that vulnerability at several points along the front. And the Allies would just need to capture one of those locations to collapse the line. So anybody with a moderate level of experience in Paths of Glory will not seek to pursue those kind of opportunities. That's kind of why I've pulled the French back to here. This is a safe space. It's an important space to hold. It doesn't create any real vulnerabilities for the Allied line. Okay, so that's the German turn complete. Let's look at the Allies. Okay, so because the Germans played Guns of August, I've met the prerequisites for playing Rape of Belgium, but it's not an immediate priority. I definitely want to play it, but not as an immediate priority. Likewise, Blockade, great event to play, not immediate priority. French reinforcements, can't play reinforcements, British reinforcements. I have an unfortunate starting hand because I have four reinforcement cards in my hand, and that's quite annoying. Moltke, let's talk about Moltke. Another great card to play, and a beginner French player under pressure might say, oh, I've got to play this, got to get out of the way. So this Moltke makes it expensive for the Germans to activate in France. It's a great event, but it is negated by Falkenhayn. Now, Falkenhayn is a mobilization deck Central Powers event. There is a good chance the Germans will either get it on the first turn or on the second turn. The Allies can gamble, and you can say, all right, I'm going to play Moltke and hope that the Central Powers don't have Falkenhayn right now. They've got a hand of 6 cards. There is a 50-50 chance they do have it, or at least, if they don't have it this turn, then they'll get it next turn. More experienced players will tend to hold this until they see Falkenhayn played, or at the very end of September 1914. It can only be played in August of September 1914. At the very end of September 1914, just when it still meets its prerequisites, but when the chances of the Central Powers still having Falkenhayn are lower. And ideally, you want to put the Central Powers in a position where you say, okay, here's Moltke. If you've got Falkenhayn, play it. Otherwise, you're about to shuffle your deck. If they're about to hit limited war on turn 3, there is a far lower chance of them getting Falkenhayn into their reshuffled deck and draw. So what you're hoping as an Allied player, you're trying to look for the circumstance where Falkenhayn can't be played as a response. Beginner players might play Falkenhayn for ops, and bingo, there's your opportunity. If you see Falkenhayn played for any reason, bingo, there's your opportunity. An experienced Central Powers player won't play Falkenhayn. They will hold on to Falkenhayn until they see Moltke played. Okay, so it's a bit of cat and mouse. Do you have Moltke? Do you have Falkenhayn? You don't know. But if Falkenhayn hasn't been played by the end of September 1914, ideally on the last action round of September 1914, then you play Moltke. You force the CP to, in the least, to hold on to Falkenhayn for that long. They can't play it on that turn, and you get rid of Moltke before it's out of September 1914. So technically, the Allies don't know that the Germans are holding Falkenhayn. I know they are. We know they are. But this allied player doesn't know that. Crikey, these reinforcements are problematic. Okay, I definitely want to improve war status. I definitely want to play these events. I definitely want to play these reinforcements. Yeah, wow. Can't play reinforcements on this first turn. I know there are more British reinforcements coming in. I've got 2 Russian reinforcement cards. I'm going to have to face some difficult decisions here. I'm going to have to play some of these reinforcements for ops. And look, I'm going to lead with a low 3 op. Why am I picking this card? Because I want more than... Look, I've got 2 Russian reinforcements. Let's play one of these. I've got a lot of reinforcement cards. I have to pick one. I'll pick one of the Russian reinforcement cards, play that for operations. So I'm playing 3 operations. Now, at this stage, the French might have a clue that the Germans are going for a Western Front strategy, but technically, they don't know. I'm not going to read their mind. So I'm playing an ops card for my first action, and what I like to do is put some pressure on the Austrians immediately. I like to put some pressure on the Galician region out here. So 1, 2. And then what else do I like to do? I like to save the... Well, I don't... what do I like to do? You'll notice I have Italy set up. I always like to set Italy up at the start of the game, just to give that visual reminder of what's going to happen. 1, 2, and... What else? I'm not so worried about what's happening up here in Prussia. I'm not worried about Przemysl or Tarnów for now. I have 1 action point left. Yeah, I'll get the French corps up from Grenoble. Pretty simple move. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put it in Paris just to bolster. Actually, we'll put it in Bar-le-Duc because if French replacements are needed, I would like to have the space, the stacking space in Paris to rebuild should it be needed. So I've moved that French corps. Now I'm going to attack with the Russians. I do have von Franz... Oh, no, sorry. Central Powers. What combat cards do I have? No, of course I don't have any. Am I going to attempt to flank? What's the worst? What's the worst the Austrians can do? They can do a 4, which will flip my Russian armies down to a 4. That's okay. I am going to attempt a flank. So what I like to do is think, okay, if I attempt a flank move and I fail, what's the worst that the Austrians can do? And that is 4 damage, which isn't great, but the benefits of succeeding are pretty substantial as well. So I'm going to attempt to flank. I need a 3 or more. I succeed. So the Russians will attack first. They are looking at the 6th column and they roll a 1, which is 3. So 1, 2, and nothing more to do. The Austrians now counterattack on the 1 column. They roll a 1, which is nothing. So the Russians win 3-1. The Austrians have to retreat 2 spaces, and I will go 1, 2 into the mountains. Now I could pull into Chernowitz, I could put into Stanislaw. The retreat rules are quite flexible in Paths of Glory. The reason I'm picking the mountains is because I'm forming my line of defense from Przemysl, Uzhgorod, Munkacs. That's going to be my line of defense. The Russians will now advance, and now I'm adjacent to 2 Austrian corps. These are both going to be very vulnerable. On the 3 column, Anything above a 2 will wipe out those core completely. Only a roll of 1 will cause a step loss. So these Russian core are vulnerable. They should be worried. Now, back to the Central Powers. Now, normally if I was playing the Central Powers, I would retreat those core. I want to maintain strength on the Eastern Front. I believe that would be a good thing to do, normally. Because I'm going for a everything on the Western Front strategy, I'm going to ignore those core. I'm going to say to the Russians, if you want to spend 2 action points attacking those core, go ahead. I'm not bothered. Okay, so keeping Falkenhayn back, I've got Landwehr to flip 2 armies, including one in Mulhouse should be needed. I do have Entrench, which I would love to play. I do have Race to the Sea, which will force an allied response. I might hold that just for the time being. And I've got Reichstag Truce. Look, I'm going to play a simple card, Von Francois, for 2 operations. 2 ops. Why am I playing 2 ops? All right, well, look at my hand. I've got 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. I would like, ideally, to kind of play the cards in this order. Save my big cards for later on if they're needed. See what I can do, see what pressure I can create with my low ops cards first. This is the least valuable card. It's an Eastern Front oriented card for attacks against Russian units. It's not removed from the deck. It's the least valuable card in my hand. I'm going to play that and see what trouble I can make. And the trouble I'm trying to make is against the French. That's not a move, that's an attack. Against these French forts here in Verdun. So attacking from Metz and Sedan into Verdun. I have 20 attack factors against their 6 plus 3 in a trench is 9. So it is painful, it's tough. I don't expect to capture Verdun this turn. I am just wholeheartedly and against my sort of better judgment, attacking Verdun relentlessly, attacking the French relentlessly. Okay, again, I have no combat cards. Again, the Allies have no combat cards. And of course, terrain effects, it is in a trench, so no flank attack is allowed into. Offensive fire is 1 to the left, defensive fire is 1 to the right. So I go from 16 to 15, they go from 9 to 12. So that's 15 versus 12, firing simultaneously. Black dice will be Germans, red dice will be French. Black dice Germans, red dice French. So we have a 15-3, which is 5 loss factors. French are happy with that because it's just 1 flip and they ignore the rest. The French, what did I say, 9 to 12, 5 is actually 7 loss factors. So in this case, I can't just flip 2 German armies. I have to actually remove one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then replace them with a core, which is reduced 7. In fact, let me think about that. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to take it from Sedan instead. Take it from Sedan instead. To leave that army in Metz to attack Nancy. So not a good combat. Bad luck to the Germans, but I have now reduced a French army. Okay, that's problematic for so many reasons because I can't play Landwehr and the French now are not under pressure at all. So for the next Allied card play, I am going to play with a bit of breathing space. I'm going to play Blockade for replacements. It gives me got my replacement counters off to the right. It gives me 3 Russian replacements. It gives me 2 French replacements. It gives me 2 British replacements, and it gives me 1 Allied replacement. Okay. And the Germans are frustrated by this. And they are thinking we must keep up the pressure. So we will play, we're going to play, I would love to play entrenched for the event, but again, and normally I would, but again, in this all-out Western Front assault, I am just going to keep attacking. I should play replacements because they've just played replacements. I kind of want to get them on the back foot and responding. So I'm going to play 3 ops. I don't know, that's probably... Hold on, I'm not keeping track of things. I played 2 ops. I played the event, then I played 2 ops. Now for my third action, I'm playing ops again. I have no MOs. The British have an MO. That's problematic. That's very problematic for the first turn. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Allied second action was replacements. Okay. So I'm playing entrench for 3 operations. I'm going to go attack, and move. We'll move that core up. All right, so we'll move. We'll move the core up to... I'm almost tempted just to keep them back in Aachen. The reason I might do that is I can leave this gap. No, I don't want to leave too much of a gap, do I? I'll move them up with that army. All right, now I'm going to attack Verdun. I have no combat cards. They have no combat cards. I can't flank. So I have a strength of 16 on their 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're 1 column down now because of that step loss. Again, it's a grind on the Western Front. So my 16 goes down to 15. Their 8 goes up to a 9. So it's 15 versus 9. Red is Allies, black is German. Okay, 15-3 is another 5. And 9-2 is a 4. Okay, so we lose 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 4. Yep, you can see I'm baiting the British to attack me with the BEF. Right, so that's my 4. The French lose 5, so they have to lose that army. 1, 2, 3. It's replaced with a core. 4, 5. And the French lose by 1, so they have to lose a step to cancel the retreat in Verdun. All right, so the trench enables them to cancel retreat by taking a step loss, which is what they've done. So the Germans are much happier with that combat, forcing the retreat, forcing the step loss, putting a lot of pressure on the French. That's the idea. We've got 2 dead French armies now. Germans are taking losses. It's okay. All right, back over to the Allied players. Now, I am going to... Things are looking troublesome on the Western Front. What am I going to do? Strategically redeploy. I'm going to bring the BEF core and place them with the BEF army. Now, I did a little video on this where actually it was part of the advice strategic tips video I gave. If the BEF, I mentioned earlier, this is non-replaceable. So if it is removed, it can never be replaced. It's out of the game permanently. If a regular army, and it can only be replaced by the BEF core. If a regular army can't be replaced by its core, it's permanently eliminated. If the BEF core is eliminated, it's permanently eliminated anyway. So there's no point holding the BEF core back. You may as well place them on the board and have them do their job, basically. So that's one. I'm also going to redeploy some French. I'm going to put 1 core here. Now this gives the strength in Verdun back up to 6 to 8 column, right? 3 plus 3 for the fort. I'm going to move 1 to Bar-le-Duc to give me some, Bar-le-Duc, give me some flexibility there. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then I put one corps in Belfort, just to strengthen that fort down there. That brings them up to 5, which will bring them up to 6 to 8 column with the trench effects. Okay, that has been used. That was a strategic redeployment. I've got to get in the habit of putting these markers down. I get distracted from talking. Can you guess what the Germans are going to do? They're going to keep that pressure up on the French. They are going to try to wipe out Verdun this turn. Or I could finally play Landwehr and rebuild those armies and then renew the attack next turn. Give me just one turn to pause. Although if I do that, then the Germans, so what have I've only got 13, which will be shifted down to 11, which will cause will wipe out the army, guaranteed. But they'll still be able to hold Verdun. What I don't want to give them an opportunity to strengthen Verdun. If I play Landwehr, the French could potentially reshuffle their forces on the front and move an army, a new army, from Nancy up into that space. Okay, bear with me. I just took a quick break to grab a coffee and I kind of forgot what I was discussing. Okay, so it is the German action round, and I think I was sort of tossing up whether to play Landwehr now and get Mulhouse and Sedan up to strength. Now, on a 3 fire table, the Germans going to need a 4 or more to hurt the BEF. My concern was I don't want to give the French the opportunity to reinforce Verdun. I want to hit Verdun again. 13 strength will go down to 11. The minimum hit of 3 would guarantee I destroy their army. Great. But they'd be fighting back on a 6 to 8, up to 9 to 11. I could potentially lose quite heavily as well. And the problem is my reduced army is in Sedan. So if I get something like a 5, I have to reduce that army, which could be problematic. Could be problematic. Could be very problematic, in fact. Because I would have to take this army off. A result of 5, for example, means I'd have to lose this army and then lose a corps, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a huge gap in my line. So thinking through what I've just done there is thought through the consequences of losing that battle. What's the worst case scenario of me attacking Verdun? I lose this army. I have to lose that army. I have to lose its replacement corps. This would be the circumstance if I suffered a 5 loss factor result. What can the Allies then do? British corps, 1, 2, 3, 4, put the entire German East Front out of supply. So that could have been disastrous had I chose that option. So instead, I'm going to play Landwehr. I'm going to spend 2 RPs to immediately flip my reduced strength German units. Done. That is out of the game. A 2-op card removed. So I've played an op. And now the Allies have an opportunity. They have an opportunity. They are going to, okay, they can sense things developing on the Western Front, certainly. I'm going to play my Russian reinforcements for 3 operations. Action round 4, ops card. What do I want to do? All right, so look, Verdun's up to 6. Nancy is only on 8. Okay, I say only on 8. So if I reduce, I'm going to move another army into Verdun, and I'm going to move a corps from Bar-le-Duc into Nancy to keep it at strength, strengthen Verdun up to 9. I then have one additional action, and I could move the Belgians down to Brussels, but I want to keep the BEF It's going to keep things stable there for the time being. I am going to attack with the Russians on the... Actually, yeah, let's... Actually, you know what? I'm going to attack with the Serbians. I'm going to hit this Austrian corps in Timisoara, which will hurt it and hopefully wipe it out. Okay, so let's move. Two forces here. I'm moving an army into Verdun. I'm moving a corps into Nancy. That gives me a strength of 6 here and a strength of 9 in Verdun. With trenches, they'll be shifted up. I still have the corps in Bar-le-Duc, which I can keep there. Bar-le-Duc is not under immediate pressure, that's fine. So I'm pretty happy with how that worked out. All right, German turn. Time to continue the attacks. And what am I going to do? Look, it'd be nice to play Race to the Sea. It'd force the Allied British and Belgians to have to respond. I just want to keep pressure on the French. I've got an army here now, so that'd be 3 on 5. Their 5 corps would need a 6 to hurt my army. Whereas my 5, no, hold on, their 5 goes up to 6, so to be a 5 or more to hurt my army. That would hurt the corps. I'm just thinking what else I can do here. I think that's it. I just want to keep hitting. You know what? Nancy is only 6. Only one army there. Let's just shift our focus a little bit. Let's play Race to the Sea. 3 ops. Again, I'm normally I'd be playing this for the event. Get it out of the card, the deck. I'm just going straight relentless against the French. 3 operations. Attack. No, sorry, what did I say? Here, I'm going to hit Nancy instead. Verdun's a strength of 9, Nancy is 6 to 8. And I'm going to have a go at Belfort, I think. Let's hit their core. They need a 5 or 6 to cause a step loss. Let's just go. I cannot flank. All right, so we've got 15 versus 6 to 8. My 15 goes down to 12 to 14. Their 6 to 8 goes up to 9 to 11. So it's French, Germans. Germans are black. Ooh, this is a good roll. Okay, so a 5 is 7 loss factors. Their 9 to 11, 2 is only 4. So I lose a step. I lose a step. Let me think about this first. Because they're going to lose 7, so they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, replaced with a corps, and then 7. I'm going to take a step from Strasbourg. The reason being, Strasbourg can only attack Nancy, whereas Metz, I'd like to keep this big, strong stack here to give me the flexibility to attack Verdun with a full strength stack. Okay, so Strasbourg can only go in that one direction. You can see the lines here, they can only attack Nancy. So I'm giving myself, by reducing the step from here rather than here, I'm giving myself more flexibility. I've still got this 10 strength here that can attack Verdun or Nancy. Then from Mulhouse, retreats. I won that combat 7 to 4. They will cancel the retreat by taking a step loss from their corps. Okay. They will reinforce that next turn. Now I'm going to attack Belfort. Again, its 5 goes down to 4. Their 5 goes up to 6 on the core fire table. Okay, core fire table 6, yeah. They need a 5 or more on that red, which they didn't get. Okay, so the 5 goes up to 6. They rolled a 2, which is 1 loss factor, which is nothing for the Germans. The Germans, on their 5, goes down to 4. Oh, my apologies. It's also in the mountains, which goes down to 5, 4, 3. Mountains and trench, but a 6 gives them 4 loss factors. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay. Then, wow. You can see the pressure building up. What do we do now? I'm going to take I'm going to take... Do I cancel that retreat? Belfort is a very good place to defend. I'm going to take a step loss to cancel that retreat. The French are in trouble. Okay. What can they do? Operations. Sorry for my head. All right. What can they do? Crikey, they need more replacements. They need to do more to put pressure. What are the Russians doing? You can see I'm not doing enough to take the pressure off the French. Replacements. More French replacements. What else can I do? Attack with the Russians? Yes. So, wow. Maybe now it's time to play Moltke. No. I definitely need replacements. I need more French to be coming on. I'm only getting 2. I'm getting 1 army back out of the 3 I've lost. And the Germans are looking very strong. I need to attack the Germans to take the pressure off, but the Russians aren't in a great position. They haven't done much. I've got one French corps left. I've got 1 British corps left. I'm going to lose Belfort and Nancy if I don't do anything here, if I don't respond. So I think I've got to move. The longer I can hold these forts, the better. I'd like to hold Moltke. I'd like to play Moltke. Do I play Moltke now? Again, keep in mind the Allied player, they haven't seen Moltke. They don't know the Central Powers have Moltke. Falkenhayn. They haven't seen Falkenhayn. They don't know. But they're in trouble. So playing Moltke the Central Powers would likely respond with Falkenhayn to cancel it or spend a lot of ops. It buys them at least 1 action. Yeah, there's 1 action left. So in this turn. So again, keep in mind I'm trying to imagine that the Allied player doesn't know what's in the Central Powers hand. I know they've got 2 cards left and 1 action round left. All right. So let's say I'm going to try and buy with 1 turn left before my replacements come in. I'm going to play Moltke. If they play Falkenhayn, great. I can play replacements on the last turn. If not, then they don't play replacements. And they don't get German replacements, which they probably don't need anyway. But so hopefully that's explaining why I'm playing Moltke. Not knowing what the Central Powers have, knowing they've only got 2 cards left, they could be holding Moltke, they could be holding Falkenhayn, but it forces their last action to be either expensive or a response or replacements. Okay, which buys me some time for French replacements to come on. So I'm going to play Moltke after that discussion. Central Powers activations in Belgium or France now cost 1 ops per unit. Is it needed? I mean, maybe I don't need it. Because they're not quite in from Belgium or France. Maybe I hold on to this for now. That was my rationale, but then I'm thinking, well, they're actually still in Germany. They're still hitting the forts. They haven't quite driven into Belgium or France yet. So maybe I just play. I know I'm going to get more British reinforcements next turn. There'll be another card coming out. I'm going to play some more replacements. So, this is this. If I play replacements, I'm going to lose the forts. Or I can maneuver, pull back to the forts, get the Russians to be more active. I think I'll do that. I'm going to play I'm going to play 4 ops. Yeah, I'm going to play 4 operations. This is a bit of a gamble. 4 operations. What am I going to do? I've just moved into Verdun. Moving out of it. I'm going to move my Bar-le-Duc army. I'm going to move the Paris army. I'm going to make Paris a bit vulnerable because I'll be rebuilding there very soon. And then I am going to strengthen Kovno with a view to attack the Germans in Innsbruck. So I'm going to, from here, moving 1, 2, 3. All right, so give me that one slightly stronger stack to start hitting the Germans in Innsbruck, to cause some losses, to force them to either rebuild here or lose. I should have done that a while ago. Then I'm going to move the Paris army, 1, 2, 3, into Nancy. Gives it a strength of 6. I'm moving a Verdun army. And I might just move this army down to Belfort, the reduced army, into Belfort. And I'm going to move this corps to here. And actually, you know what? I'll move my, what am I doing? Kidding, I'm losing track of everything. What did I do? So I'll activate, I don't need to activate that other army. I'll just move there, leave that army there, and activate a Russian corps in Riga to move down as well, to hopefully soak up some damage. Right, so now I'm just moving my reduced army into Belfort. I'm moving this reduced army into Nancy, giving me a strength of 6. So I've got 6, 6, and 5, which is fine because they're in the mountains and entrenched. Okay, so yes, this is vulnerable. But if the Germans push into here, I'll pull back and away. But yeah, definitely French problems on the Western Front. Okay, done. Russians are set up to try and relieve some pressure. The French are calling, saying, crikey, help us out. Now, final Central Powers. I'm going to attack with the Serbians down here. When was that? That was a while ago. Losing track. So caught up in discussion. The Serbians wanted to attack 2 army on 1 corps. 2 army 2 does 1 damage, and the 1 corps 3 does no damage, so they have to retreat. They're not advancing, they're just trying to kick that corps back a little bit. Didn't do what they wanted it to do, they wanted to wipe it out. Okay, sorry about that. So, Central Powers, final action. We've got an army I could replace, or I could just really keep the pressure up. I could, with a strength of 15 down to 14, a good roll would really hurt their army. I don't want to take replacements. I just want to keep hitting. I'm going to play Reichstag Truce for 4 operations, and I'm just going to keep hitting the French with an attack, not an attack there. What else am I going to do? Do I come out of Mulhouse 5? We'll go down to 3. It'll at least hurt that core. A good roll would hurt them even more. I would love some more. I'd love to SR some German core here, but like I said, relentless assaults on that Western Front line. Okay, if I attack into here, I'm going to go down to 3. I'd need a 4 or more to hit there to kill their army. Anything less would just destroy their fort, and I would likely lose. All I'm going to lose is a step, actually. Problem is I have no replacements coming on. So do I take replacements rather than using that card for actions? Do I just take a couple of replacements? I'd get an army. I think I will, actually. get my army back in. Just one extra army over here would really help get the Austrians up to speed. I'm going to take replacements. I feel a bit guilty. I feel I should be just putting constant pressure on, but yeah. All right, so we've got 3 German replacements. We have 2 Austro-Hungarian. Yeah, I don't feel great about that. And now, so that was my last thing. It's replacements. Now the Allies, they could play replacements. They definitely need more French replacements, but I have a mandated defensive with the BEF. I've got some Russians set up over here. I'm going to play 4 ops. It's a big card to play with ops. I am going to attack with the BEF. I'm going to hold everything here. I'm going to attack with the Russians out here. I could attempt to flank. I could attempt to, if I just throw that core in, I could attack first. Yeah, let's try it. I really want to hurt the Germans. And then let's attack Chernowitz as well. All right, so 4 attacks going on, all from the French allies. Now this is where it's taken me 6 action rounds to get to this point, but I'm trying to relieve the pressure on the French by hurting the Germans in other ways. This is going to hurt. I have no combat cards, they have no combat cards. I don't like to do this, but the French need help. So I've got 7 on 5. It's in a forest, but yeah, no modifiers here. So 7 on 5. Ooh. The 7-6 is 5 loss factors, which just flips that to a 3. And the German 5-4 is 4 loss factors. So yes, the BEF takes a loss. Actually, it's the best they can do is 3. And yeah, the best they can either flip the army. Time for me to consult the rules. Taking losses. Losses are taken by eliminating units. Must fulfill the loss number as much as possible. May take fewer losses. Yeah, there's no requirement to prioritize an army. I was just double checking that. Oh, sorry, there is a priority list. BEF Army first. So I have to satisfy that first before the core. They are the top priority for loss factors, loss factor losses. All right, so they'd lose that. They've lost a step. They've met their MO, but the Germans are happy because it's a non-replaceable step. They are permanently reduced now. The Germans are like, yes, we've baited them into that attack. Over here, 3 on 1. Now, basically, we'll roll. Here we go. Allied 3, a 3 is 2 loss factors. They're wiped out. And the Austrian 1 can't do anything, but 1, yeah, no effect. And then we can advance into Chernowitz and gain a victory point for the Allies. Not much of consequence there. Here is where there is an important combat going on. The Russians have 6 combat factors against the Germans, 7. They're in a forest. We'll talk about that later. Doesn't affect combat. I am going to attempt to flank with the Russians because even if I lose, the Russians are going to take losses. I know that. I'm trying to hurt Germans regardless of Russian losses. So let's try and flank. I need 3 or more. That's a 6. That's successful. The Russians attack first. We are 6 to 8 column. A 3 on the 6 to 8 is 4 loss factors. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Mission successful. We've reduced the Germans. That's what we wanted to do. All right. Now the Germans counter. Got to keep that in mind. 6 to 8, 3, 4 loss factors. Now the Germans counter with 4. 4, 5 is 4 loss factors. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Take that Russian core off. Okay, so yeah, the Russians, it was a tie, but really the Russians won because they have reduced the Germans on the Eastern Front. The Germans now face a difficult decision of what to do with their 3 steps. Actually, to be honest, it's not that difficult because they've got 3 reduced units. We tried. We tried. Look, we're getting Russian replacements anyway. Actually, you know what? Rather than, I'm going to reduce both of these armies because I know I've got Russian replacements coming in and both of those armies can flip straight back. Rather than rebuilding the core, have them go there, then have to SR out, I'm going to rebuild them in place. Okay, and action phase is complete. Yeah. Attrition phase, no attrition. Siege phase, no sieges taking place. War status, I didn't actually upgrade the war status when the Central Powers played Guns of August, but that's where it is. And replacement phase, allies first. So no allied replacements. 2 British. Now they have, it's always worth pointing out the core that they have down here in the Middle East. 1, 2, 3, that's 1.5. Nothing else to replace. They cannot replace the BEF. Then we've got French, 2. What are the French going to do with their 2 replacements? Oh boy. Oh boy, indeed. 6 there. Belfort is pretty strong. I think I'm going to go 2 replacements. Yeah, I'm tempted to build 2 core because I'm close to losing 2 more armies. So I'm going to rebuild 2 core because I've got a lot of reduced armies along the front here. And if I lose just one of those armies, I'm down to no French reserve. So rebuilding my reserve first. And then 3 Russian. So over here, 1, 2, and the Russians are up to strength. Okay. Now, 2 Austro-Hungarian. We've got 2 reduced armies here. 1, 2. Easy decision to make. 3 Germans. 1, 2, and 3. So, Germans are almost back. Well, they are stronger than they were at the start of 19... No, they've lost an army. Of course. Okay. Should I bring that army back on? Okay, so this is where it's an interesting decision. Do I bring this army back on to Essen, or do I rebuild this army in Insterburg? It's just 1 step, but it's 1 step I'm taking away from the Western Front. Part of me thinks, yes, I'm being so effective down here at crushing the French, and you know, what are the Russians really going to do in Insterburg? What are they really going to do? I am going to rebuild this army in Essen. I'm going to follow my advice, go relentlessly on the Western Front. Do I reduce... I think I built Strasbourg. I'm going to make that a full strength army and try and push them through Sudan, see how far we can get. Yeah. Yep. Because Strasbourg is going to be mainly defensive. Mainly. All right, so I've got Verdun is 6, Nancy is 6, Belfort is 5. Okay, replacements have been taken. Draw strategy cards. So any combat cards, just so you are aware, here is what we have. Moltke and Falkenhayn. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, end of the turn, we advance the turn marker. It is September 1914. We roll for our mandated offensives. We have a French offensive and we have an Austro-Hungarian Italian offensive. Now, before Italy enters the war, I will read the rules. If the result is AH and Italy is at war, blah, 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 blah. If Italy is neutral, move it to the Austro-Hungarian box and treat as if Austro-Hungarian had been rolled. So that's not a problem. We can do that. All right, MOs are rolled. Let's get to the action phase and let's look at our hand. We have German reinforcements. Do I bring in the German reinforcements immediately? I've got a couple here. All right, here are my 4-op cards. And a couple of 2-ops. All right, as usual, I see severe weather. It's not fall, winter, or spring, fall. It is September, which is a special non-seasonal turn. Playing this early on to see what happens would be interesting. Or I can play German reinforcements early on to get my reinforcements out. Let's do that. Let's play German reinforcements. The 9th Army is coming out. Can you guess where I'm putting them? Essen. Done. Let's clear this and clear that. All right, German reinforcement. All right, now, how are the Allies? They've got a bit of breathing space here. How are they going to respond to this? What reinforcements do I have? I did not get, I was hoping, that's the other card in the draw pile. The one remaining card, that's a gamble. That's what I wanted. I don't have now my British reinforcements. I've got entrench. What else can I do? This is not a good... I've got withdrawal. Here we go. Great. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. 5 2-op cards. Don't tell the Central Powers player. Okay. Oh, no. All right. Oh, no. All right, well, the Russians, look, this is, okay, the Russians really need to do something. And what are they going to do? I'm going to play severe weather, 2 operations. And I've got to get going with the Russians. They're going to attack again, and they're going to attack again. It's going to be a flank attack from Grodno. I bumped a few counters, 2 ops, let's go. We're going to try a flank attack, 3 or more. It's a failure. So the Germans will attack first. Do they have any combat cards? No. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. All right. So the Germans are attacking first. Defensive 4-1. Okay. The Russians are breathing a sigh of relief. 2 losses. We will just flip our... Actually, we might just remove that corps. Yeah, we'll remove that 1 Russian corps. The Russians now counter with a strength of 6, 3. 6, 3 is 4 loss factors. All right, now the Germans are in trouble. 1, 2, 3, replaced with a corps, and 4. And now, what was the result? 4 to 2. So they have to retreat 2. They can go 1, 2, and 1, 2. And the Russians can advance into there. And they'll hold. So again, the Germans have kind of sacrificed their eastern front for this focus on the west. All right, and the Russians now finally helping out their French allies. All right, that was the ops card. All right, the Germans should be a bit worried about this. There's a lot of victory points around here, but again, the Germans are not playing the long game. They are not thinking, oh, 1 or 2 victory points that I need to hold. They're not worried. They are focused on wiping the French out on the Western Front. There are a lot more victory points here than there are here. And so the Germans now have their units. And what are we going to do? We're going to move those units. 2 operations. 1, 1. The Austrians are stronger here as well, so we could send some Austrians north if needed. 1. Do I attack the BEF? The BEF is going to be... I know it's... The BEF's just in a vulnerable position here. They're sitting in Brussels. No, I don't think I want to. Or do I? A strength of 6. Loss factor, guaranteed. I'm guaranteed to wipe out the BEF. Guaranteed. Let's attack with this army here. Right, so what I'm doing is moving 1 into Metz, 1, 2, 3. So Metz now has a big pile. It's versatile. It can attack Verdun or Nancy. And then 1, 2, 3 into Sedan. They can only attack Verdun, but that's what they want to do. And then from Liège, I'm attacking the BEF. They've got a strength of 6, so 6 to 8, but I'm attacking with 6 to 8. This attack is guaranteed to wipe out the BEF because it's a minimum loss factor of 3. Oh, hold on. Unless a defending unit negates 1 required core step loss. Full strength attacking units may advance. No core... if no core steps are lost, an army step loss. So I am going to use withdrawal. Allied player playing withdrawal, 2-op card, gets it out of their deck. So that'll be removed. And it may just save. May just save the BEF. Let's see. Let's roll. So you play the card before you know what's going to happen. It's 6 to 8 versus 6 to 8. Oh, okay. So a 6 to 8, 5 is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We lose the call. Can't satisfy the last one. And a 6 to 8, 4 is 4. So unfortunately, well, yeah, I've got to prioritize the BEF. 1, 2, 3. All right. Can't take the last step. If no steps were lost, I negate the last step. So the BEF was saved and they have to retreat. They're retreating to Ostend. I could retreat to Antwerp. But as the Allied player, well, actually we've seen Race to the Sea out, haven't we? I could retreat to Antwerp. It just puts me in an awkward position. The Germans can't advance into Ostend, but I do like to keep. And the Allies actually won that combat, so there's no... Actually, no, there was a withdrawal. Full strength attacking units may advance. Okay, so I can... Oh, that's interesting. Attacking units may advance. I'm not going to. I'm going to stay right there. I'm just going to stay right there. All right. What was that? That was, I've got to keep track of these actions. That was an ops. No, yeah, it was an ops card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, Allied second action. Look, let's be relentless with the Russians. Let's keep hitting the Germans on the Eastern Front. Let's play 2 ops. We'll play Putnik for 2 ops. It's an ops card. Let's attack Königsberg and let's get our core moving up. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 into Tannenberg. Let's get a control marker to remind ourselves that we've moved through this area. And just a combat here on Königsberg. So we're looking at 6 against 4 small core table. 6 against 4, actually they've got a trench there, so the 6 becomes a 5, their 4 becomes a 5 core. So we're looking at Russian army 6 down to 5, German core 4 with the fort up to 5. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the 5 core 3 is 2 loss factors, so they will lose a step. And then the 6 down to a 5, 2 is 3. So the core is wiped out. The fort remains intact, but I can advance. The trench is gone, and I lay siege to Königsberg. It's a tough one. But the Germans, again, they're sacrificing their eastern front for the west. Again, the Russians are thinking, yay, we're helping the French. And the Germans are like, but are you helping enough? We're now in place. We will play wireless intercepts, 2 operations. Yes, it's a card I'd love to get out of the deck early, but focusing on the western front. Attack and attack. Let's go. 2 ops. No combat card. Let's get ops card. No combat card. So we are looking at 25 on 7 with a trench. Okay, so I go down to 15. The defenders go up to 9 to 11. Okay, oops, that's a 3. So 15, 5 loss factors. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The French lose the core. Their 6 to 8 goes up to 9 to 11. 1 is 3 loss factors. I am just going to take that from... Oh, tough question now. Metz is so strong. I can take it from Metz. Yep. All right, now the French have to retreat. They will take a step. 5 to 3, they have to retreat 2 spaces. That's fine. Do I want to give up Verdun? No, I don't. Just yet. So I'm going to take a... Yeah, I'm going to take a step loss. I'm going to take a step loss. I'm going to take a step loss to hold it. Okay, the tension I feel here is it time to give up Verdun? I don't know what to do. I think what I'm doing is I'm buying myself one more turn to play. Oh my God. I just don't have replacement cards. Okay, I'm going to play Russian reinforcements for replacements. Russian, French, British. 1 point each. Allied replacements. And the Germans are like, well, if you're going to play replacements, we're going to play replacements. But we get a lot more. We get 2... Where are they? Well, we get three Germans and 2 Austrians. Okay. Back to the Allies. And trouble everywhere. Okay, so my 3 army there, I'd love to destroy Königsberg. I am just going to continue on the Eastern Front. I've got this momentum. I'm not going to entrench. I'm going to play 3 ops, and I'm going to move. I'm going to move this army. I'm going to move this corps, and I'm going to move. What else? 1, 2. That's it. What else? One, 2. I think that's it. So I've got one thing left. I do have the British here in Ostend. They could come around. They can help the French out. Do they move around to Amiens? I think they will. So because no race to the sea yet, Germans can't move into here, but I can move these guys around to Amiens so that if the Germans advance to Cambrai, I can counterattack them. That's not I'm just trying to get the British more closely involved in this tense defence around. I could even, 1, 2, 3, 4, I could move a corps into Verdun, but I don't want to. All right, so moving here, I'm just going to move up here to Tannenberg, and I'm going to move this corps up to Tannenberg as well to strengthen my attacking potential on Danzig. Germans should be even more worried about this. Okay, but hey, okay, so we're doing so much on the Eastern Front, on the Western Front. I've already played my reinforcements for the turn, haven't I? Yeah, I have. So I can't play that. I was looking at it like, hey, but I've got this up my sleeve, but I don't. All right, let's then play. Let's play 4 operations, and let's go. We're going to go attacking and attacking. And if you think we're stopping there, we're not. We're attacking. And we are going to... what else can we do? Let's attack here as well, because why not? Oh, no, I need a good roll. Hold on, what do I need here? 4 down to 3. I'd need a 4 or more to hit the army. Anything less, they've got 3, 4, 5. They're going to hurt me on a 2 or more. I'd at least wipe out their core. Is it worth the army step? Yeah, let's try it. Right, so just Western Front, relentless. I'm not stopping to look at Danzig. I should, maybe. I probably should, but I'm not. I'm just going to, like I said, relentless Western Front. I've got 10 here. Actually, let's do, before I do Verdun, I'm going to do Nancy first. I've got 3. What have they got? They've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're on the 6 to 8. If I can I get at least 15? I can. I can get 16. I'm going to try Mulhouse first. You know what? Let's try start in the south. Let's do Mulhouse 5 on 5, but my 5 goes down to 3 because of the trench and the mountains, and their 5 goes up to 6. I forgot about that. That's okay. I don't have any combat cards. They don't have any combat cards they can use. This is my... What was the last allied turn? It was Ops. Yeah, no combat cards. So my 3 versus their 6 to 8. It's a gamble. What I'm hoping for is a black 4 or more. There we go. Right, so the black 4 or more, 3, 5 is 3 loss factors, which means they have to lose their army. They lose an army, it's replaced with a corps. No further losses. 3, 5 is 3 loss factors. The French rolled 6 to 8, 5 is 5 loss factors. All the Germans do is flip that. They keep their army. They're happy. The French win the combat, but they have 5 armies now in the eliminated box. Okay, now we look at Nancy, and we've got 4, 5, 6. Again, looking at that actually goes up to 9 to 11. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do Verdun because they've only got a core here. So they're only firing on the core table. 4, they can't hurt me at all. I need 5 loss factors. I would need, I'm pretty much guaranteed, the best they can do is 2. If I can just get 9, so if I just attack from Sedan with 10 factors, brings it down to 6 to 8, I'm guaranteed to win. So again, you kind of, what I'm doing here is calculating the worst case possibility. 10 on 4, my 10 goes down to 6 to 8. The worst possible roll is a 1, which will cause 3, which will wipe out their core and let me advance. If I roll a 5 or more, I destroy the fort instantly, but I'm not aiming for that. I just want to occupy Verdun. The best they can do is 5 up to 6. The best they can do is actually flip one of my armies, but I'd still advance, I believe. So let's try this, see what happens. No combat cards again. Their trench brings me from 10 down to 6 to 8, and their 4 goes up to 5 core. There we go. So they do no damage, and my 6 to 8, 5 does 5 damage. 1, 2. Wait for it. 3, 4, 5. Verdun is destroyed. I will advance one army, keeping the other in Sedan. Verdun falls, a victory point for the Central Powers. The collapse of France seems imminent. I said earlier, I'm not good at this Western Front offensive stuff, but it's working. As long as the capital doesn't fall. All right, now we're looking at Nancy. We are looking at everything here, which is 16 German factors against my 6 French. All right, so 16 goes down to 15. Their 6 goes up to 9. Let's see what happens. Oh, French counterattack. Their 9, 6 is a 7. So I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Replace it with a core and flip that core 7. And, sorry, that should be there. And then my 15, 2 is 5. They have to lose their army. So 1, 2, 3, replace it. 4, 5, and they win the combat. Again, they win the combat. Is that right? It's 9 to 11, 7. Yep, they win the combat, but wow. They've got one army. The French have one army on the board in Paris. They both, well, they should be worried here. The Germans should be worried over here. Okay, what do we do? I don't have the replacements. A terrible hand to be suffering this kind of German offensive. One French replacement isn't going to help me much. I think I'm better off continuing to drive. So I'm up to the last... I played a combat card. No, so I'm up to action round 5, operations. And the Russians... Yep, they're going to continue attacking. I might actually just do a one-op. All I want to do is attack from Tannenberg into Danzig, wipe it out, basically. That'll give me one action round left to finish. So I'll do that. I'll do a one... is there anything else I can really do? I could hit the Austrians down here. They can easily rebuild their core. 3 army has a chance of wiping out Königsberg. Let's try that. Okay, so I'm going to spend 2 ops. And I'm going to attack and attack. I'm going to attack from Tannenberg, and I'm going to attack the fort in Königsberg. Fort first, it depends on the 3 core table. It can actually hurt me, so let's see what happens. All right, so it might hurt me. It will hurt me. My 3, 4 is enough to wipe out the fort. So the fort is destroyed. All right, that's a victory point now for the Allies. But their fort 3 core 6 will actually hit my army. All right, so I take a step loss, that's fine. But now here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on 3. 4 army on 3 core. Okay, 4 army 4 is 3, which is enough to 1, 2, 3. I've destroyed Danzig, but their 3, 1 does 1 step. So I do lose a step on the core, and 1 core can advance into Danzig. That's another victory point for the Allies. So, look at this. There are no German defences. Berlin is wide open. What do we do? Not a problem, says the Central Powers. Not a problem at all. We will just take a moment to 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we'll just move a couple of core around, eh? We're going to spend 4 ops. We're not going to strategically redeploy. We could, but I'm just going to maneuver a couple of forces. I'm going to move these guys. I'm not worried. I am going to move... I'm going to keep the pressure up. That's 1. What else can I do? 1, 2, 3, 4. What else? I said I'm not worried. I am actually worried. 1, 2, 3. I might lose a couple of space. There's only 1, 2 Russian armies in this area. Yeah. Maybe I should. I've got a lot of German core here. Maybe I should strategically redeploy. I think I will actually. So what I'm going to do is strategically redeploy onto here. 1, 2. I'm going to move this army. 3. And then I'm going to move this Austrian corps. 4. I'm just trying to buy a little bit of time. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not overly happy with that. I would love to keep attacking. The French are only getting 1 replacement for now. Yeah. I'm just buying some time there. Okay. And so that was done. And now the French, now they've seen Falkenhayn played, and they're like, here's my chance. Moltke. Falkenhayn's now done. They played that. The Germans weren't thinking. They played Falkenhayn for those SRs. Moltke. Moltke. Central Powers activations cost 1 op per unit. Done. That's removed, and that was an event. All right, so you can see the French, the Allies are trying to they're trying to buy time on the Western Front. The Germans are trying to buy time on the Eastern Front. I think they're both kind of waiting for reinforcements, replacements. Keep in mind, Moltke is now in play. Okay. Attrition. Sieges have both been resolved, so there's no attrition. Verdun fell. No attrition, no siege phase. War status, no, there's no update to war status. Again, we're playing the quick game where both sides are kind of looking for that quick killer blow. Right? So I'm not playing the long game. Neither side is really immediately concerned with VPs or war status. They're going for the quick blow where war status and victory points are less important. Replacements, though. Let's get the Allies. 1 Russian. Done. 1 French. They've got no core. I'm going to build. So what you can do is you can replace half-step core. Granted, I've only got 1 army, but you need to have some reserve. Okay, and 1 British, which can't be used for anything, unfortunately. Then we have 2 Austrian. They've got a core here and a core here, which they'll rebuild to full strength. And 3 German. All right, let's go. Let's go. 1, 2. All right, so now, do I have enough? Do I have enough Germans on the Western Front? I think I do. 1, 2, 3. I'm figuring I've got enough here, and the French have been so destroyed, I feel pretty confident that I can maintain this pressure with these forces while saving my bacon in the east. Okay, that's what I'm thinking there. Yeah, I feel I can. All right, replacements are done. Card draw phase. All right, so we draw the last card, we reshuffle, and we deal 5 more to the Central Powers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Deal the last card. Okay. It is now turn 3. Fall 1914. Man, we definitely didn't have a French mandated offensive, and I think I forgot about the Austrians as well. Crikey, completely forgot about that. So preoccupied. So the VPs balance out. All right. What are the Germans doing? Falkenhayn. Good timing. Cancel the play of Moltke. Yeah, let's cancel Moltke. Lucky. 2 war status. So the Germans are getting 2 limited war at the end of this turn. Incidentally, without planning it. Now, we have British reinforcements. That's all. Okay, let's bring the British reinforcements on. We are desperate. So we get 1 Allied war status. And we get the First Army and 1 corps. First Army and 1 British corps. Whoops, that's Russian. That's not the right army. Where is that British army? First Army and 1 corps. They will help. And before they can arrive, the Germans want to go all out and do as much as they can to destroy the French. I'm going to start. I've got. I've got Verdun now. I'm just going to push forward 10, 13. Yep. Let's play entrench 3 ops to attack, and attack. I'm going to hit their core here in Bar-le-Duc. It is 9 on 1. I'm not playing any combat cards. The Central Power is playing any combat cards. No, they are not. So look at 9 on 1. That's going to wipe them out. And their 1 corps 3 is not going to do anything. So that's a dead French corps. And we will advance into there, leaving 1 corps behind in Verdun. Do I need to do that? Yeah, I need to do that. I should have done Nancy first, but I'm taking a gamble here. I'm assuming the attack in Nancy will succeed. I feel pretty confident it's guaranteed. I've got 13 on their 4 corps. So my 13 will go down to 11. Their 4 corps will go up to a 5. If I roll a 1 and they roll a 6, I'm in trouble, but that's about it. Double 1, that's okay. So my 13, both of these, I could have flanked, but I can't flank. 13 on 4. A 1 is 3 loss factors, which wipes them out. Doesn't destroy the fort. The trench will be gone. And their 4 goes up to a 5-1 is 1 loss factor, which does nothing. So now I can advance from Metz into Nancy and lay siege to that fort. Okay, can't advance with a reduced unit in Strasbourg. But now, huge gap in the French lines. They cannot hold Belfort. What can they do here? Panic. The Russians aren't going to be able to help them now. They have to absolutely respond. We need to get the British down here, basically. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got, let's think through the activations first. I definitely want to bring these guys up. I want to bring these guys around. I need to pull these guys away from Belfort. That's at least 3. I can play Russian reinforcements for that. Let's try that as a minimum. 3 ops. 1, 2, bringing that army into here. The army in Amiens will go 1, 2 into Melun, and then we'll bring these guys from Belfort 1, 2 back to Nevers. But to be frank, the Allies are in a lot of trouble on this Western Front. I didn't capture the VP for Bar-le-Duc, and Nancy hasn't been captured yet. All right. Trouble, trouble, trouble. And you know what the Germans are going to do? Keep up that pressure. Let's play 4 ops now. Let's keep our armies moving and attacking. We've got British now here as well. So let's bring up our forces. 3. Let's move to lay siege to Belfort. Nazis under siege. What I'm going to do is move up one of my reduced armies to continue that siege. I'm going to move this big hard-hitting army around. So what's going to happen is this army's going to move here and lay siege to it. So the trench goes... Oh, hold on, that's only 4. That's only 3. I've got 1 more. Do I hit the British here? No, they've got a strength of 6. No trench there though, so it'll be 6 on 6. BEF can't be rebuilt. Let's try it. We'll attack through here, see what happens. You never know. Okay, so laying siege to Belfort. Moving this reduced army in to take over that siege of Nancy. Moving these guys to Dijon to try and hit the French down the south there. And then finally an attack on Melun. All right, so it's 6 on 6 and no combat cards, no combat cards. We are just 6 on 6 armies. Oh, and there we go. So that's 5 loss factors. Now, on the defense, the British can choose... I made a mistake there earlier. Doesn't matter. On the defense, you don't have to follow the priority. I think I spoke about that incorrectly. 5 loss factors. I have to take the army. No, I don't. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's the only way I can satisfy those losses. So the BEF is eliminated permanently. They counter 6 to 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. 6 to 8, 2, which is a 3 loss factor. So the German army just flips and they now have to retreat 2 spaces. So they'll go 1, 2, and and do I advance with that corps? No, I don't think I will. I think I'll keep the Germans here for now. Trouble, trouble, trouble. I'm not keeping track of my actions this turn, I'm sorry. And I didn't roll for MOs either. Let's do that. 6 is nothing, and 3 is British. Wow. Okay. We'll mark that. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've played 3 actions. I think they've all been... What have I done? I played an event. I played Falkenhayn as the event. And then I played Ops and Ops. Sorry, I'm in the way. And then the Allies played British reinforcements, I think. And then did they play Ops and Ops, I believe? No, they played... No, we haven't done anything for our 3rd action yet, so here we go. How do we save this Western Front? Sure, I don't know. Got to get the British down further south. I think I can bring this British army down to here. Getting more British corps onto the map. There's only 2 corps in reserve. And the Russians, well, we've got 2 German armies now here on the Eastern Front. So the Germans kind of just, yeah, stymied Russian enthusiasm out in the east. Oh, look, I can still push towards Stettin. Be 1 action to get, 1 turn to get to here. I can hit Stettin then. And then the problem is they can just move their army around and reinforce it. All right, I'm going to try and try something as the Russians. I've just got to keep hitting out in the east here. So three ops. Moving this army 1, 2, 3 with the French. Moving the Russians 1, 2, 3 to Lodz, and then 1, 2. In fact, I'm going to keep the corps. Keep the corps there. What I'm going to try and do is put pressure on the Germans here in Breslau. Try and cause a step loss. It'll be guaranteed, basically. Let's try and reduce German strength. All right, and there's a hodgepodge. This is not an ideal situation. You don't want the British and the French mixing like this. It just becomes expensive to activate them when you need them. Okay, here's the German hand. Look, we can continue hitting. Actually, the Germans have taken some losses. I might play some replacements. Let's take a breather. There we go, easy. Replacements taken for the Central Powers. And the Allies are breathing a bit of sigh of relief as well because they really need their replacements. So they'll play replacements as well. They get 1 Allied. 1 Allied, 2 British, 2 French, 3 Russian. Okay, action round 5. Action round 5. Right, strength of 6 here. But I know the British are just going to replace their losses, but no trench there. I could cause some real damage. I don't have Race of the Sea in my hand at the moment. Still got some German reserves up my sleeve. I might strategically redeploy. Again, Sud Army, definitely a card you want to play in the long game. Trying to keep the pressure on, so I'm going to SR 4 units. How am I going to do this? I'm going to go 1, 2, and then some Austrians, I think. 3, I'm looking at this core in Verdun. One more SR. Yeah, let's bring another Austrian on. 4. Okay. What I'm trying to do here is create some stronger bring the core in to bolster the German strength. So that was a German SR for their 5th action round. All right, what are the Allies going to do with their hand of 2s? All right, they're going to attack, right? So let's get 2 ops to attack. Let's get the Russians to attack. Jeez, there's not a lot I can do. Let's get the Belgians out of Antwerp maybe and swing around. Antwerp's not important. Attacking here. I don't want to attack the Austrians. I just want to keep pressure on the Germans, but it's really hard when they're just holding Breslau. Yeah. Okay, let's bring this core up from Odessa. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll attack 6 on 6, basically, 6 to 8 on 6. But we'll play Cleave. Russian units get +1 modifier on attack. Gets that card out of my hand. Nothing for the Germans. So we're looking at 6 to 8 versus 6 to 8 with +1 for the Russians. Okay, so 6 to 8, 5 and 5 is 5 loss factors each. So the Germans lose that, 1, 2, 3, replaced with a core. 4, 5, that's eliminated. And the Russians have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, replace it. I think that was a 3, right? I bumped it. 5. Okay, so the Russians are happy. They've wiped out a German army. The Germans now have no core, so that's a vulnerability. And there is 1 German action round left. They will play it for 2 ops, and they're going to attack here and move up from Sedan. Now, again, I'm going to create a vulnerability in my line. I'm going to move up here. Sedan has been captured. There's a gap in my lines here, but it's covered through Metz, through Strasbourg. Nobody can sort of weave their way through behind my line. That's a German flag. All right, so I'm putting pressure now on Paris. I'm in a position to capture Paris. I'm also going to try and hit, I've got 12 down here on their 6 in the clear. No combat card, no combat card. So I'm looking at 12 versus 6. And a 12, 5 is 7 loss factors. So the only way they can satisfy this is 1, 2, 3. That would be 4, 5, 6, not enough. They've got to remove this now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, replace it with a core. One more step, 7. Now they had 6 to 8, 4, which is 4 loss factors, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's 7 on 4. They have to retreat 2, 1, 2, and the Germans can advance into there. There is 1 Allied army, sorry, apart from the Belgians, there is 1 other Allied army on the Western Front. Yeah. And the Allies have a 2-op card. A British, a French, a Russian. They're going to play replacements. A British, a French, a Russian, because they are so desperate for those replacements. And that's it. So the British did not meet their MO. That's a victory point for the Central Powers. But that's, again, that's not, it's not a priority. Any attrition? Yes, we have some forts here. So let's roll for the forts. I feel the writing is really on the wall for the Allies. They are just, really struggling. I have not played it well as the French. I mean, the Russians have been doing well. This is it. The Germans have just said, no, we don't care about what's happening over here. Okay, let's roll for Nancy. Successful. That falls. That's a victory point for the Germans. Let's roll for Belfort. That fails. And that's the only sieges we have going on. So it's a victory point for all the Germans. Okay. Where was I up to? War status. Oh, the Germans are at limited war. So they add their limited war to their discard pile and they reshuffle. And the Central Powers have, the Allies have a way to go. We take replacements as well. Oops, I wasn't shuffling very well. Okay, replacements. 1 Allied, there are none. What are we up to? 3 French? So I managed 3 French somehow. Okay, good. Let's bring in a French army into Paris and another French army into Paris. We have 3 British. So let's bring in back the British army. 1, 2. And that's all they can do. And 4 Russians. Okay. Well, let's bring a Russian army back. 1, 2, 3. And a Russian corps. 4. Austro-Hungarian 2. They should be taking some pressure off the... they should be a bit more active. They've done nothing. 3 Germans. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. Advance the turn marker. It is winter, 1915, but the Germans are already beyond the French mountains. So those mountains aren't going to save the French. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Allies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll reshuffle and draw 2 more. Okay. And what are we going to do? Okay, we've got some good 4-op cards, 2 4-op cards, that's good. Okay, 2 2s, we've got Kamal, which we won't need for a while. Yeah, okay. Let's try and clean up. I'm going to play Kamal because, actually no, let's play... Let's play Libyan Revolt. 3 ops. Let's play it a bit cautiously. 3 operations. We're going to move. And Belfort hasn't fallen yet, but this has. So I can move from Nancy. And I'm going to move. I want 2 big stacks. I'm going to go to here. Strengthen that. Ah, cracky, I've bumped things there. I wasn't sure where things were. They'll go there. That call will go there. 1, 2, 3. We'll move into Brussels and capture Brussels. Now, actually. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Yeah, I think. Too late now, I've lost track of where everything was. MOs, I've always got to roll for MOs. 6 is nothing, 1 is French MO. Okay, good luck, France. So did I just capture Melun? Did I count that earlier? I'm not sure. I don't think I did. Getting a bit distracted. So I think it's another victory point for the Central Powers. These are, of course, Central Powers captured as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another one there. In Brussels. Minus 1, 2. What else? Oh, and the MO. That was failed last turn. All right, so they're done. What are the Allies going to do? How are they going to respond to this? British reinforcements, British reinforcements will desperately try and bring some on. Second Army, 1 corps. There we go. The British are going to desperately try and save French bacon. We've got 3 French armies in Paris. And they've got 2 reserves. I am going to now keep the pressure up. Yeah. 2 ops to attack Paris. 1, 2. I thought I brought a reduced army up. No, I sent them that way. That's okay, I've got the maximum anyway, so I've got 16 plus versus the French 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is 16 versus 8. There is a trench in Paris. So 16 versus 8. 16 goes down to 15. 8 goes up to 9. Any combat cards for the Germans? No, it's only really Trench Defender, Kamal. Ooh. German attack versus a French fort. It's not a. It is a fort. It adds a +2 dice roll modifier. Do I need to play Place of Execution for a combat card? It's a great 4-op card. I don't think I really need it. A German attack versus an undestroyed French fort against Paris for a +2 dice roll modifier. Ooh. No. Because I feel pretty confident that we'll hold it for now. Severe weather, it's not a mountain. No, got nothing. So we're looking at 15 column versus 9 column. Here we go, didn't need it. 15, 4 is 7, that's the maximum. And the 9, 6 is 7, so it's 7 on 7, but the Germans can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just kind of reduce their armies in place. The French will have to eliminate one of their armies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're in trouble. But the British are coming. Can the British reinforcements arrive just in time to save their bacon? I said that just a moment ago, didn't I? All right, so let's keep track of these things. That was an, what have I done? Ops and ops, didn't I? So ops and ops. And the Allies have just done a British reinforcement. Do I have French reinforcement? I do. I can bring the 10th Army straight into Paris. Let's do that. 10th Army arrives in Paris, and they're back up to strength. Okay. Germans are taking a lot of losses on the Western Front. This is they've pushed so hard. The French, this is kind of where things start to turn. If the French can just hold on for another turn or two, with these British reinforcements arriving, maybe they can hold. They can lose their Western Front forts. They're holding on. Okay, so what just happened? French reinforcements. Okay. Okay. Oh. Actually, just realised I'm 2 hours in, so I'm going to take a break here. This will be the first pause, but I'll continue in another video shortly. It's hanging in the balance. No, it looks terrible for the French. It's somewhat to be expected with this kind of German Western Front offensive, but it's not over for the French, for the Allies. There's 2 strong British armies sitting in London. They can reach Paris in 1 turn. We can move the French down to the south. There are still options here for the Allies. It is not over. That said, what they should be now looking and worrying about is victory points, because the Germans are close to an automatic victory. So Germans can start to look at that as a possibility. A subtle shift on the Eastern Front to capture a few easy VPs, and yeah, they could just snatch that automatic victory by surprise. We've been focusing on the elimination of the French, but maybe we're just looking, or just considering, shifting focus to that automatic victory in the process as a sort of side effect of this. All right, folks, thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, thank you. More coming soon. Take care. Bye.